your screen. We will just wait for a couple of minutes. I cannot
All
see
right.
your slide. I can just see a lot of
Okay.
fire. I can see now. I can see.
Okay, you can see now.
I
Okay,
can see
got
now.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank
All
you.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Cool, cool. You can stop now. I'll just we'll wait.
Mhm.
Officially, I'll just tell you how the flow goes, Bridge. We will start exactly in 4 minutes. The session. So
Okay.
I will just put in our WhatsApp community in my LinkedIn. And the second thing, if you see people have their mics unmuted, which is very unprofessional, what I will do is, guys, please unmute for now. So you keep your mic unmuted, Bridge. I am going to off the mic. So the mic is going to be off for everyone. Right. This and I will be moderating this to maintain quality. And uh, any questions that are coming, how do you want to take the questions? Do you want to take the questions at the end or as we go, Bridge? Okay, you have unmuted. I asked to unmute, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better to go at the end because like in between, like we can also try to answer, but that may interrupt the flow of
Sure.
our presentation. But it will be great if we can have those questions at the end. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot. So that's what we will do, Bridge. So thanks. So what we will do is how much time you need for the presentation? Just general.
So mostly like like when I received your message basically whether there's going to be any kind of example or anything like that. So I thought, okay, why not to include some examples basically.
Mhm.
So presentation would be taking roughly about I think half an hour something. And then we have some examples which we can see in live basically. So that's
Sure.
going to take another, I think 15, 20, or maybe half an hour. So something, I think in 1 hour we will be able to finish everything. Something
Thank
like
you.
that.
Yeah. So we will be taking the questions. Yeah, whenever anyone has the question, you can put on the chat, everyone, and you can put from which country you have joined. If you are joining for the first time, listening on the YouTube live as well, please put in all these things. And we will be taking the questions at the end, or I will be trying to answer at my own capacity. And then I will be putting on to Bridge as well. And if you want to speak, everyone, please raise your hands. There is an option of React. In YouTube, you can just put your questions. I will ask it. But in Zoom, you have an option to raise your hand and I will unmute you as well. And for the people who are joining in, just put in from which country you have joined. And we will be starting. I think he has 1 hour of talk. So I think we will not waste much of Bridges' time because he's a busy man. So I will welcome everyone. So today is our 79th AI community meetup. So I will just give a 2 minutes introduction to everyone, Bridge, and then I will give over the stage to you. So
Okay.
this is our 79th AI community meetup. Welcome everyone who is listening around the globe. And this is an initiative where we invite our guest speakers globally from across doing amazing work in the AI and data space and to share their knowledge. So the first segment is going to be about Bridge. He's going to talk about 1 minute. The second section is more about community announcements. We have launched our new AI application building challenge. So I will be talking a little bit more about that and the other community updates in the later section. So 1 hour we will have for Bridge. We will be taking the Q&A. If it gets extended, well and good, depending upon Bridge's time. We will request him to be there till the Q&A. And in the second update, we'll be talking about the challenge and other things that are there as well. So coming to today's the 79th community meetup, and the topic, as you all know, is about for digital transformation, where we are trying to bridge the gap between legacy and the future IT. And this is a very, very important topic, and every one of you who are in this space will understand the importance of this. And I have also sent an abstract just before this to some of you in the description as well in the WhatsApp community. This is a very, very important. I will not take much time to talk about this, but it is something that you need to know if you are in this technical field about this whole MAS framework. And Mr. Bridge will talk more about this. And to introduce Mr. Bridge Kishore Pandey, he is a principal engineer in ADP, and he will talk a little bit more about himself. But I know Bridge for a long time, and I was just telling the community, he's a LinkedIn superstar with around 544,000 followers, and he gives amazing content on LinkedIn. And I will also share, I've already shared with all of you on the event description. Again, I'm sharing it. Follow his content. He does amazing work, amazing knowledge sharing session, and he has a lot of data and AI experience. He also contributes in different platforms like even this community platform, Impact, and all those things. And I will give him more time to talk about him. But personally, I would really thank Bridge. I have been trying to follow with him for some time, but I really, and he's in the US, so you should all appreciate that it is early morning in the US, but he has joined for our community. So thanks again, Bridge. And over to you, a quick one-line introduction about yourself, and then over the flow of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me for this event. I'm glad that I'm able to make it today. I think we had to cancel our last event due to some reasons and health concerns, basically, but I'm so happy today to be here. As So hello everyone, my name is Brij Pandey, Brij Kishore Pandey, and people call me Brij. Right now I work uh, as a principal engineer at ADP United States. I have over all I think 15 plus years of experience in total in IT industry. I have played different roles throughout my career. Currently, I'm more into AI side, AI development, and all those things where I've been taking a lot of initiatives and I'm guiding the team members basically. Apart from my this job, I'm also involved in other activities, right? Like doing research work, working on patents, working with other initiatives like NGO and other things. Uh, and and apart from that, I'm very much active on LinkedIn, Instagram, and also on some other social media platform where I try to share my knowledge in an easy way so that people can understand. So that's pretty much about myself. I would just like to add that I have also written two books. One is on data processing, where it is all about building ETL pipelines, and there is another book on AI basically. So that is in publication. So yeah, that is pretty much about myself. And now we are going to, you know, go through this session. We are going to look into examples and other things. So yeah, just bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. So
Yes, we
okay.
can see.
Oh, you can see. Okay. All right. So I'll start this slide. So and leave from start. Okay. I think. Okay. All right. All right. So I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Okay.
We
Great.
can, can you, can the, we can see the notes also. So
Oh,
can
oh,
you
okay.
just,
I think I'm sharing, and then I think I'm sharing this in the wrong window. Okay, let me just
you can,
reshare this one. Sorry for this
no problem. You can do
inconvenience.
presenter view, I think. That will
Yeah,
hide
yeah,
the
yeah,
note.
yeah, yeah. Just let me try it again. Just give me a moment. So, okay, what I can do is I will go and then I will share the other. Actually, I have multiple screens, so that's making things a little, like confusing. But yeah, I think hopefully we will be able to do that. So play. How about now?
Yes, we can see. Thank full
Okay.
screen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we are going to talk about you know m- modernizing the IT operations or anything in any industry. It can be any industry by leveraging agent AI agents basically, and our today's focus is multi-agent system basically. There are numerous way to go through this one. Like there are so many libraries and platform when it comes to multi-agent. Um, but 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 today we are going to look into a library called LangGraph, which is an open source platform, and it can be leveraged and get started quickly in no time. This is an open source library by LangChain. So we are going to look into this. Okay. Uh, if, if you are not aware of multi-agent and all those things, just bear with me. We are going to look into them as we progress. Okay. So, uh, so throughout this presentation, we are going to take an example of our old data. Okay. So in IT industry, like I have seen often like there are so much data which is lying dormant in junkyard here and there, and people know that they have important information, and but they are ignoring those data because they have some other priority work to do. But you know what, like those kind of data, they are gold mine in my experience. And if we have proper tools and technologies, we can we can dig into that gold mine and we can extract the gold out of that one. And so it's a kind of we are sitting on a gold mine of data, which we need to dig into. So uh, so basically for that we are going to look into some tools and techniques and how we can leverage them, to to utilize those kind of data. And after that, like we are going to see how we can use the same approach to do anything to modernize the whole IT operations using agentic AI. Okay. So before we move into that, let's try to understand what is an AI agent. Okay. So AI agent is nothing but is a software program, as you know, uh, that can collect data, interact with environment, and use the data to perform self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals. Human set goals, but an AI agent independently chooses the best action it needs to perform to achieve those goals. For example, consider a contact center AI agent that want to resolve customer queries. The agent will automatically ask the customer different questions, look up information in internal documents, and respond with a solution. Based on the customer response, it determines if it can resolve the query itself or pass it on to a human. So, an agent is empowered with so many autonomous feature and autonomy which it can leverage to decide the next step. Okay. Now, you might be thinking that it can also be done using AI tools. So there is a difference between tool and agent. In tool, like it's more like an, a non-living kind of thing in AI world. So once we are done with certain task, uh, that's it. It is not going to do anything at all. So we are just asking, hey, do this. Uh, It does. That's it. After that, there is no consciousness of this tool. Whereas for the agents, they have their own consciousness. They can act, they can change their mind, they can do things. So that is the difference between a tool and an agent. So as you can see in this diagram, an agent like it can receive instructions, and like it has a memory. It can be a long-term memory, it can be a short-term memory. We can leverage an LLM or any kind of AI model basically, but since this is an era of LLM and generative AI, so that's why I have given this as an LLM. and it can have so many internal tools, you know, like this calendar, API, etc. Okay, so I hope this clears your doubt about agent if you are not aware. Okay, so now, sorry, this slide was made in a hurry, so it may not be in sync, but yeah, like our message will be clear as we. Okay, so let's say that we want to create agents which can mine the data, you know. So they can be, uh, we can divide those agents like diggers, they find and fetch the old data. There can be cleaners, which can tidy up messy information. Then there can be, you know, agents like doing analysis to spot valuable patterns, and there can be presenters to show off what we have found. So this is just an example. So this all can be written in an agentic way, means they can, like, means we can create independent agents for each one of them. Okay, now, um, so this is a simple Python program, and this is how we can, you know, like we can write an agent. So um, yeah, frankly speaking, these are not agents because they do not have a memory, but this is just for an example. So as you can see, we can create a dig agent, we can create a clean agent, analyze, present, etc. And then we can use some tool or framework so that these agents can interact with each other on its own without any external human intervention. Okay, so but these are not agents. This is just to simplify and to give you overall picture that okay, these can be agents if we do something on top of this. All right, so now as you can see here, we can leverage things like we can create agents, and I mean, this is another example, to use agents basically, um, to, you know, connect the dots in the data. So just bear with me. I'm not going into much technical detail. I just wanted to give you an overview, you know. So based on the old data in our example, you know, like we can predict our future. That's quite easy, right? So when powered with these agents, okay, these tasks can be automated, and this like they can run while we are sleeping in the back end without any human intervention, or with very minimal human intervention. So that is really, you know, really a paradigm shift, because using these tools and libraries which we are going to discuss, things can be done very easily, quickly, in very less cost. Okay. Um, so I'm not going into, sorry, these are distracting. I don't know. Okay. All right. So what happens if, you know, like let's say like we have old data, they can be in legacy database, like, you know, DB2, they can be in different file format, written in COBOL, mainframe, etc., which we are not aware of that, right? So how to leverage those kind of thing, like how we can get the data out of them. So for that also we can write agents, and we can translate, you know, translate the old to a new way basically. So we can say that okay, in COBOL this is like this one, now we are going to use SQL, NCSQL, so we can do like this one. So we need to do some minimal homework, you know, like how we can make those things available so that our modern system can read them. Okay, so but again, like uh, in any implementation we have to do some groundwork. We need to, you know, like check how feasible it is. And so So in here also, this is just an example, like we need to convert our old thing into new one, so that our agents can read them. So we need a connector, and connector can be written easily, like there are so many tools also. But if we just want to go in open source way, they can be like written in simple Python, in plain Python, or in any other like languages, but that is immaterial, because that is not the point of our talk today, because that is not a big challenge, which we have been doing that for a long time, and that is an integral part of any IT industry. So we are not going to focus on that one. Instead, we are going to focus on our agents and all those things. Okay, so now we know about agents. Let's go to next. What is multi-agent system? So I know, like, in few countries they call it as multi-agent. In United States they call it as multi-agent. So basically I'm used to call this as multi-agent, but don't get confused. Multi-agent and multi-agent both are same. It's just a question of the pronunciation and the culture basically. So in this multi-agent system, like we are going to look how we can leverage things and streamline stuffs to do some useful work. So before we jump into that, let's try to understand what is a multi-agent system. So as name suggests, multi-agent system is nothing but a system where there are multiple agents in a very simple way. Okay, but those agents, like, they interact with each other, and they are designed to do some particular task. So if that kind of system exists, that is known as multi-agent system. Okay, in our case, like, we can have a data retrieval agent. you know just let me get some. Okay, so in our case we can have data retrieval agents. We can have processing agents, analysis agents, interface agents. So in data retrieval agents, they can get the information from the old system. Processing agents can clean and refine the raw data. Analysis agents can identify valuable pattern and insights. Interface agents, they can present discoveries in understandable way. These agents work together, each with a specific role, to extract value from your legacy data. So just to simplify, like, how they work, I'm just taking an example of this legacy data, but in fact this can be applied anywhere, in any industry. So now, before that, let's go to this is this LangGraph thing. So LangGraph is a very beautiful library for implementing a multi-agent system. This is an open source library by LangChain. As you know, LangChain is very famous in generative AI space. So this LangGraph library is gives us tool and technologies to get started quickly with a multi-agent system, which we are going to see in our examples. Um, so basically, let's try to understand this one. And before this, I just want to give a disclaimer. So I'm no way associated with LangChain or LangGraph. I'm not promoting any library as such. There are so many other libraries. Please feel free to search on your own. If you Google multi-agent library, you will find a lot of results over there. There are like libraries like, I think, PhiData. Um, then there are many, like Camel AI. So basically, I like this line graph library because it has a powerful feature. And in generative AI space, like, most of the folks, like, they have been leveraging LangChain here or there. Chances are that you will also be using that one. So this LangGraph, it can be a game changer because it is by LangChain and it leverages so many of their libraries basically. So once we import LangGraph, like we do not have to import LangChain or vice versa. Um, we can we can avoid doing a lot of redundant tasks to like install things. So that's why I like this library, and we have used this one in many places, and they are also there in the production in many companies. Personally, I know many companies who have implemented this one, so that's why like I wanted to give examples using this line graph. So this is just a picture of the line graph, how it works basically. So just think like so basically there are one, two, three, four, five components in this one. Okay, this is very simple. So this is user input. So if you open anything, any app, anything like any chatbot or anything related to AI, we need to give user input, right? So that is our user input. Okay, now let's go to the router. So this router is the main component of this LangGraph library. So that is where all the informations like they come at the end. Okay, and this multi-agent system, like it is based on this router. We can also call this as an orchestrator. So it can be called as an orchestrator because it can orchestrate things based on the input. Okay, so if you find that okay, I got this input, then let's do this one based on its own intelligence. Okay, so let's say that in this one, like user is there, user sends some like input, generate a chart of average temperature in Alaska over the past decade. So this is the question. So if we build a system using LangGraph, how it works is we will have to create agents. So let's say that we have created two agents. One is researcher, another one is chart generator. So researcher, it will do research based on the input question, and then the second agent, which is chart generator, it will generate the data and it will send back to the user. Okay. Now, when it comes to the researcher, then researcher like it may call an intermediate tool. Okay. So as we saw, a tool is nothing but a very simple program that help us to find something. So let's say we want to find the odd numbers in a given series. For that, we do not want to write an agent, right? We can simply write a program, and that can act as a tool. Mm, we can name that as a tool, and so we can create several tools if we have to do some intermediate operations, and we can call them over here. And once researcher has found that, oh, hey, I have received enough information, then it will pass this to router or orchestrator. And then there will be another agent, chart generator. So it will also interact with router, and based on this input, uh, they 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 collaborate with each other, and then they give final answer. So now this is an oversimplification. There are so many components over here, but uh, this is the basic thing, like basic structure, how it works. Now we can have other agents like third agent, fourth agent, something like this one. And they all can interact with this router, and they can do a big task collaboratively by talking to each other based on the response, intermediate things, etc. Okay, so this is how line graph works on a very high level. Now there is another thing which I would like to mention. So it is based on the graph, as name suggests. So as we know in computer programming, graph is a very important concept. So graph has certain components, and they they are like edges and nodes basically. So and so basically these all can be called as nodes here. All agents are in nodes in this graph, and all the connection between like components can be edges. Okay, and then there are two other terms like agents and state. So agents is nothing as we discussed. They can be nodes, and state means like there is a very beautiful feature of this one. So whenever we are passing an input through this one or here or there, every request maintains a state. So this is not a stateless. There is a state. A state means a kind of memory. So it understands that okay, hey, this is on this state. Uh, so for example, let's say that we want to find out the temperature of San Francisco. Okay, we got the temperature. Now, once we found that temperature, that is available for all the agents if they have to get the data. So they do not have to go and call another agent or call any tool or do anything like that. No, because the data is already available and that can be propagated to all the agents. So that is the beauty. That is that is really powerful, you know. So now here is a like another graph is showing the same thing. Now let's move forward. So the router which we discussed, as I said, that can also be called as an orchestrator. In LangChain world, that is called supervisor. Okay, so supervisor um, like it orchestrates the request, it does the routing, uh, it it collaborate with others, it does the aggregation and other operation, like so this is the main entry point for any input or output in the line graph. Okay, as we discussed, this is another one agent, this is another agent, and this can be like tools like search tool, rag tool, in document team, like we can have different stuffs. And you know what, like we can also have hierarchical uh, like a stuff. So basically means let's say that this is one agent, so this can be another agent, this can be another agent. They are responsible only to interact with this one. Or this can be a tool and this can be an agent, something like this one. So we can mix and match. All right. All right. So now this is the same chart basically. Okay. So although we are going to look into a live example, this is a screenshot of how like it can be done. So in LangGraph, like we have a state graph. So basically, in order to create an agent, it's very easy. Okay, in LangGraph, they can be created like this one, just to start with. So this is one agent and this is another agent, and once we have created the agents we can add like them as a node. So workflow is there. We all we have to do is like we have to give them a name and add them as a node. So we can give this as a query agent or query db, and this is our uh, agentic function. This is another agent. We can define any name and we can give this one. So this is how they can be added. Now we also need to add edge. So um, we need to connect the nodes basically. So we can have like one edge where our query DB is getting connected to analyze. We can have another edge. So once we have reached to analyze, what is next one? So next one is end. Once it counters the end, means we are done with our operation, and it will immediately you know, uh, return the result. Yeah, but I know like you may be thinking that this is very difficult, or I'm talking a lot about this one on a very high level, but we are going to uh, see an example, a live example, which you can also do on your own. I'm also going to give you the path from where you can get the data and get started quickly in no time. Okay, so this line graph example, like you can leverage this to, query a legacy database. Like you can create different agents. One agent is to get the data, another agent to, read files, another agent to do some other to do some other stuffs, and we can pass that to a supervisor in the line graph, and we can, get the insight finally. This has become really easy. Uh, so yeah, now this is the same thing which I do not want to go into much detail, but whatever we saw that one, so it's a it's a similar kind of implementation, but it is at a much lower level. But I don't want to go into this one because we are going to see a live example. Okay, so actually, if there is a healthcare, we can see the scenario in the healthcare basically. So we can create some agents, and we can have a graph structure, a legacy database integration, AI analysis node, human in the loop approval, update records. So this is to modernize a healthcare record system, and this can be our result, like faster diagnosis times, improved accuracy, seamless integration, better data utilization. There are many challenges, of course, as you know, with implementation of AI system. So we can have like data format discrepancies, which we are getting from the legacy data. We can have, you know, compliance related issue and staff training if we have to implement this in a healthcare system. Actually, I had presented this one to another conference. So I had like I was having this kind of slide over here, but healthcare was not into the picture. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a brief over here. So now I think you have a very basic idea about the line graph, and now we are aware about multi-agent system, how to implement that using line graph on a very high level, not through the practical example. So before we move, like please let me know if you have any question. We are done with the presentation. Now we are going to look into the examples, how
Yeah,
it works. Yeah,
there are some questions. One
sure.
second, if
Mhm.
you are comfortable, just few
Yes,
questions, then we can go.
sure.
There are some questions from YouTube as well as from Zoom. I will give preference to Zoom. Vignesh, you want to raise your hand if you're comfortable or you want me to read your question. So, you can you see the chat, Bridge, or you want me to read it? What
No, no, I
Vignesh
can
has written.
I can see the chat.
So
I can see
Vignesh
the
has
chat.
written, should an AI agent have a memory to be called an AI agent? I refer to your
Uh,
point that data miner is not a true AI agent.
mhm. Yeah. So yeah, this is a very good question, Vignesh. So it's not only about memory. Of course, like they have memory, like I mean, that is an integral part of any AI agent, uh, like AI agent, and that is just one aspect. So apart from memory, like they have intelligence, means they are empowered with some kind of AI model behind the scene, and they have been trained to do certain tasks and take their own decision based on the conditions, based on the outcomes and other things. So of course, like so refer to your point. Okay, I'm just reading the question. Should an agent have a memory to be called? So it's not only about memory weakness. Like it has other things also. But of course, I mean, this memory is an integral part of an AI agent. And the question number two: many online systems shows discourage the use of bots by keeping gatekeepers. in the form of captcha or task showing human presence. Are these not a hurdle for AI agent seeking storing data? Definitely not. Like wherever uh, we have to implement something, like we go in an ethical way. So we do not want to build something which is unethical or unauthorized. So we are not talking about that one, you know. If I understand your question correctly. So I want to stress the last part. Are these not a hurdle for AI agents seeking storing data? So I'm not very much sure about this one, but yeah, like I think I have covered your question. Um, okay. So the next question is, in the diagram, each isn't a software instance with a UX interface, or they are each a separate microservice being orchestrated by router service. Um, so, what we can say, they can be either, when we talk about software instance with a UX interface, that can be, but the only difference is that behind the hood, in the back end, they will be empowered by uh, an AI things, like an AI system, AI model, or anything like that one, so that they can think independently, they can take decisions on its own. But mostly uh, in most of the scenario, you would implement agents in backend, and in the front end, like mostly they will not be exposed for things uh, directly. Instead, like we will be exposing, some kind of API gateway or something like that. So I hope that answers your question. So now there is another question: difference between agent and tools. Okay, that is a very good question, which I think I have already covered. But anyway, let me go through this one. So a tool is like it's a kind of non-living stuff in AI universe. So means it doesn't have any intelligence on its own. Uh, in a very simple language, it's just a program. Just a program which we can invoke to do some intermediate task, and it returns the results. That's it. It doesn't have capability where it can take, input directly, and it can act on that input. It can work independently without any instruction. And if it is working independently, means there is some program running behind the scene where we have written if else condition or anything like that. That okay, if this one, then do this. That is that is not an agent. That is a tool. For an agent, we do not have to write sequence, or we do not have to write any condition, because it has its own consciousness. It has its own intelligence, and it can do things on uh, based on the scenario and based on its own intelligence. So that is the difference between an agent and a tool. Okay. So are your books being sold at Kinokun? I do not know what does this mean. Kinokuniya. I'm not
This is like
sure.
an Amazon
Okay.
competitor, I think. Yeah, leave there.
Yeah, it is there on Amazon. Yeah, if you search my name on Amazon, it will be there. Okay. So other question, can we memory data set to be promised through prompt
Yeah, he's
injection?
actually, Barry is raising his hands. I will ask him to unmute. He can call up both the questions and he can ask you. Barry, you
Okay.
can speak.
Okay, so my question is, um, I want to know, I want to know, I think Kinokuniya is your ebook store, so you don't know what it is. It's okay. So my question is, regarding the data sets that you said that be used for the agents, can they be compromised with prompt injection? That means that if a prompt injection take the old information and alter its meaning, could it cause a cybersecurity uh, failure for the agent? And my other question is regarding the data set. Can it also be used for bias? And can that
Yes.
bias also compromise?
Yes. Yeah, that is a very good question, and both are very valid scenario which we often see in our day-to-day
The
work.
agent, and how do we?
I'm I'm sorry, go ahead. I think your voice was breaking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think your voice is not clear. Can you please be little clear? Yeah, Barry, you want to repeat the last point? Can you
Yes.
repeat the last?
My last point was regarding the data set bias. Can the bias also uh, can it be compromised? And can it? It's this is different than a prompt injection. Um, can the data set be used as bias and can it be deprecated?
Yeah, I think your voice is breaking, still breaking. I'm not able to get it
That's
clearly.
fine. I'll just summarize that question. He's just asking about that same thing, that data bias thing, and
Got it, got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
your
Right.
thoughts on this, especially in the AI agent space.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that is a very good point, and we often encounter those kind of things, and we have to take care of those kinds of things, So just let me give you an idea. So basically, I I have seen companies, what they do is like for this kind of things, like, they write like another agent. So let's say that we have written two more agents, one for just to check the database, just to keep track of that one and all the compliance, and there can be another agent, like, which keep track of any malicious thing on anything like that one. Okay, so and they can be placed somewhere, and before anything, like anything that comes up, we can check those kind of stuff. Yeah, but again, like, when we build a system like this one, they are governed by all the software engineering practices and compliance in a company. So all the software engineering practices and compliance, they also apply over there. Like, means we will be taking care of all the security measures when we are developing things. We will be using some API gateway to, uh, and rate limiter and all those things. So of course, like, we will be taking care of every security measures and compliance measure over there that can be integrated with this system, and in fact that should be an integral part of the development process. I hope that answers your question. So
Krish, Krish is
yeah,
there. Can I ask one more? He's raising his hand for a long time.
sure,
He has
yeah,
typed the question. I
yeah.
request Krish, if you're please make sure you're in a quiet room, please, so that we with the guest will able to hear you clearly. Yeah, go ahead, Krish.
Sure. Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks, Bridge. Awesome topic and presentation. In fact, so my question which I'm going to ask is continuation to the query I already asked, which you answered, which
Mhm.
was going back to the diagram, which was like, is agent a software and service? So you answered that. Thanks for that. So my follow-up question from that is what I understood, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Like you said, in this multi-agent setup, one of them will be the so-called, if I call it, agent with a visual interface,
Mhm.
and the other agents will be probably uh, I was calling it a service with an API endpoint. So that way, the visual one gets the input uh, through the orchestrated mechanism passes to these so-called services, which will be, like you said, intelligent enough, and they will work and do uh,
Mhm.
the task, right? I mean, did I get correct, or did I misinterpret your answer?
No, I think you are correct. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Because my follow-up question is basically around security and compliance. I
Mhm.
think you answered, but just want to reconfirm.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, I put a long list there.
No,
So
no.
I think, as you already said, the security and compliance will be done as per the software best practices for any
Mhm.
security and compliance, right?
Mhm. Yes,
So that way, whatever is best practice for API security and
that's right.
let me
Yeah.
say integration, we'll do
Mhm.
that. And
Yes,
the visual one will take care based on, let me say, accessibility best practices.
that's right.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Bridge. Thanks, Mohammed.
Thank
Awesome,
you.
Shivsan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I think, yeah, you can continue, Bridge. There are few questions. I think they are on the same lines, but you can
Mhm.
continue.
Okay. Okay, so you mean you want me to continue with my presentation?
Yes, yes. We
Okay,
will take,
okay,
yeah. Thank
okay.
you.
And thank you. All right. All right, so now it's time to look into some examples. Okay.
We can take some Q&A if there is time permits in the end. We can take some Q&A because there are some coming from YouTube also. But they
Okay.
are more or the less you have covered with their.
Got it. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. So, all right. So now, okay. So I'm going to show you like from where you can get the information, more information, and get started quickly. So LangGraph, like they have a very beautiful, GitHub repository. It's like under LangChain AI, LangGraph. You can search in Google and you can land over there. So are you able to see my screen? Like which screen you are seeing? Can you
And
confirm?
the github.com.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Okay. So we discussed this one like user and supervisor and then agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, and then yeah, so like you can go to this one and you can try exploring different stuff over here. Like they have a very beautiful documentation and everything, so uh, um, and we you can get started with some tutorial over there, like they have step-by-step tutorials, how to guides and everything. So this is amazing. Now, mm, so for our practice, I have taken an example. So let me reconnect this one. Okay, so I've taken an example from their GitHub repository itself, and I have just opened this in Google Colab basically. So if you go to their GitHub repository, there is a file called Agent Supervisor Notebook. So it is here. So if you go to examples and then go to multi-agent system and agent supervisor, this file. So I have taken this one in Google Colab basically, where we are going to see the examples and how they work basically. So I thought of taking, like some other complex example, like building an autonomous like uh, a customer service center or something like that, for which they have also given a example or anything like that. But I didn't get much time, so I was in a hurry, so that's why I took this example. So like you need to install this LangGraph, LangChain community, LangChain, and Anthropic, LangChain experimental. So this is just mainly to use an LLM if you are using cloud basically, which I am using here. So I don't know if you have access or anything like that, but I just created an account. Like I do have an account on Anthropic basically, and I was able to get an API. Like if we spend about I think $5, so that will be really good for any practice over there. So we can get an API key basically from here. And then there is a website called Tavily. So Tavily, like basically it does like mm, research and any like in almost in any areas. It can be travel, it can be any areas. So we are going to leverage the API endpoint from them also. So we are going to use two APIs. One is from Anthropic, which is an LLM model basically, which is uh, uh, like which we are going to use for our agents to empower our agents. And this one is a kind of tool. So a tool to get some data like temperature data or something like that from different cities. Okay, so we are going to use them in our example. So we need like we need to install this library first, and then once it is there, mm, like we have this function where it will ask for our API's keys. So I have provided my entropic API keys and this Tavily API keys. Okay, and now um, this is the code basically. So this is just a tool. I mean, just forget about this one. This is not about agents. So here is our agent things over here. So we are using entropic. So they have a model called chat entropic in LangGraph. We are using graph and then types basically. And then, like we are going to have um, our our team supervisor is an node. It just picks up the next agent to process and decide when the work is complete. And so basically we have created like researcher and coder, like these two are nodes basically. And this pin is like, this is a kind of tool, or you know is kind of tool you can say. So, and we need to give a prompt. So if we are building anything, first we need to give a prompt like this ones to make our LLM understand like what our intent is from this system. So we need to give a system prompt. So as we have given here, you are a supervisor tasked with managing a conversation between the following workers. Give the following user request, respond with workers to act next. Each worker will perform a task and respond with their result and status. When finished, response with finish. So we need a system response for this one, and then I mean system prompt. Sorry, we can initialize the LLM. We are using Cloud 3.5 Sonnet latest model, and then let us run this one. So yeah, so we have already created the supervisor node. Now in order to create a multi-agent system using LangGraph, we need to visualize that one. Means we need to create a graph out of that one. So um, let's first create the agents, like individual agents. So here is a research node. Node, as we saw, like node is nothing but an agent. Okay, so this is one agent, this is another agent code node, and then like we need to create a builder. So a state like this one. mm, so basically this is how we can build our agents on top of this builder. So think of this builder is nothing but just starting ground, where like we have created our ground to build a building basically. And on top of that we are building our nodes, like supervisor, researcher, coder, etc. This state graph and message state basically, they like a state graph is to maintain the state basically. It is the library. I mean it is a model inside the LangGraph library, and this message state is to to keep state of our messages you know which we are propagating. So just bear in mind that this is a standard protocol which we need to follow. So if we are starting, like we need to do like this builder, and on top of this builder, like we can create our nodes and edges. Okay, so once we have created supervisor, then let's try to understand. So add edge. So edge means it will for in order to create an edge we need two nodes. Okay, so one node is start node, so it will start from here, from the beginning. Okay, it can be user input. Okay, from here start. So the start, and it is going to supervisor. So this is one edge. Now after the supervisor we are going to add node supervisor. So we are saying that, hey, supervisor is a node. Okay, and this supervisor node is nothing but an agent, as we saw that all nodes are an agent. So for supervisor node, we have written the agent here. If we go here at the top, supervisor node. So we have written the logic for this agent. Now the next one is researcher node. Researcher node. For researcher node, we have written the agent logic here. Now the next one is coder node. For code node, we have written the logic here. So that's it. Like we have created these three agents in which one is supervisor, which is going to collaborate with all other agents, and two are independent agents. And once it is done, then we are going to build and compile, so that the system can internally know that okay, now we are done with this one, we are done building the graph and everything is ready to execute. Now let me run this one. So this is run. We can also see like the added graph over here, like if I run this one, as you can see here. Now researcher, coder, and we can, let's say if we want to add a new agent here, so we can say build agent. um, then we can also add, let's say, coder, and then let's say tester, something like that one, just for this example. And there is no meaning of this one, but yeah, just, and we can define, let's say defined, then test node, something like this. Okay. Okay, so now we have created this tester node. Now let's try to run this one. Okay, and now let's see our graph. So as you can see, another agent has been added, this tester. Okay, now let's say that we want to create a tool. Okay, and we want to call that tool. We can also do that one over here. So inside tester, like no, I think that will not be a good example. Yeah, so let's say we want to communicate between like we want to open a communication mechanism between, I mean directly between tester and coder, so that can be done. So what we can do is add edge, supervise. So all we have to do is add edges over there. Okay, so let's see. So always remember, uh, edge means the connection. So as you can see here, now this coder can connect to tester, and then tester, this gives its result to supervisor. So from the coder, like one loop is from this tester, another one is directly to the supervisor. So this is really interesting. You can play around with this one. Now once we have created, then our system is ready. Our multi-agent system is ready in no time. Now we can get started. So let's run this one. So let's see. Now we are asking question, what is the square root of 42? So so how it works is, uh, we have just asked the question. So it has come from this start point, like a starting point from here. And it's saying that I will help you calculate the square root of 42. And then tool message. So internally we are calling some tool basically, and then we are getting the message 42, and then we are passing the response. Okay, so now um, let's see this example. I think this should be clear. So here we are asking the question from the user side, find the latest GDP of New York and California, then calculate the average. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Okay, so let's try to understand this one. So we asked this question. It came from the start, okay, and then it went to supervisor. Now this supervisor is responding. I will help you search for the latest GDP figures for New York and California. Let me break this into two searches to get accurate information for both states. So now it is breaking this into two searches. One is like what is the New York state current GDP figure, and like and it is using that Travely search result JSON. So this is a tool basically to get the GDP of New York, and then um, it is using another question to get the GDP for the California, and then it is going through this researcher basically. So this researcher, if you look into the code of this researcher, so basically we are using very high level stuff over here. So in research node, what we are doing is like invoke a state, come update human message, go to supervisor. So we are getting this result. So result agent. So result agent create react. So basically as you can see, it is going to researcher, and inside researcher we are calling this tool Tably tool. As we saw this Tably tool, it can do the research on the data. So we are invoking this tool over here. Okay, so internally we are invoking this tool, we are getting the GDP data, and it's doing a lot of things. As you can see, like it's trying to understand, it's trying to find the result. It was able to break into two different queries automatically, and then yeah, so I think this is a good example. And as you can see here, the now this is coming from coder. Okay, so once this research part is done, then the supervisor is sending the message to coder, as you can see here, and then it's getting the output of where is that agent to, yeah, here. So this is coming from researcher. Based on the search result, I can provide you with the latest GDP, and then it's calling, this researcher is calling intermediate tools, and then it's returning the result to supervisor, and then this coder, like it is doing the calculation. So based on the calculation, the average, so is trying to calculate the average GDP, and then they are returning the final result based on the calculation. This is the final result, and the loop ends. So I know like this is oversimplification, but it's not very difficult at all. Like if you once you know how it works, you can easily get started and do some hands-on, try to create a multi-agent system. You can try to deploy here and there. And apart from this, I would also like to let you know that if you go to LangGraph, they have something called LangGraph Studio, where you can create, you can download this studio, you can create the graph, you can develop the code. This is open source basically, but the only thing is that right now it only supports Mac OS if you are downloading it locally. Otherwise, you can also access a web version of this one. So there is a web version, and the beauty is that, like, you can try, like, and you can create agents, you can visualize how your request is flowing through. And once you have visualized, then get that skeleton code and, build something useful. So I think that covers everything for today's talk. Um yeah,
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
so
Thanks
let
a
me
lot.
know.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Bridge. You have some time, or you want to
Yeah,
look off?
no, I have some time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there are few questions that
Mm-hmm.
people are asking, and some questions people we have answered it as well while we were giving this talk and this thing. Uh, Again, Krish is asking about what are the potential risks or roadblocks we need to plan for implementing MAS. And one more thing, personal question is I want to ask you as well. Is this because you are working in ADP? I know ADP is this all these research that you are doing? Is it a part of your work or is it something that you are doing as a passion or for your own learning? Because
Um,
why I'm asking this question is, are
mhm.
companies right now even because this is something very new, right? Whatever
Mhm.
you're saying, are big companies because you, I think, are they looking at this alternative right now, or they are just waiting and watching for more better enterprise level solutions?
Yeah, that is a very good question. So I would say like I'm not going to reveal that one because that is something confidential whether ADP is using or not. Yeah, but the thing is that like I've been working with a lot of things like here and there, like in companies, outside company also, in my private capacity. So I've seen like most of the companies they have been doing this kind of stuff, not only enterprise, but many even startups also like they are building something enterprise solution around this one. But when it comes to the established enterprises, like I have seen recently, like there was a presentation by Intuit. So they have been developing something called Jane OS, where they are like trying to use multi-agent system over there. So companies have been investing a lot on their own using their existing resources, but cautiously they have been doing this kind of thing. When it comes to the enterprise solution, like they will be hesitant to buy something for which they do not have any proof of concepts. So that's why most of the companies they want to start with a proof of concept thing in the beginning, and then once they are convinced that okay this is good, then they go for the bigger picture of that one. So that answers your question. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now. Mm,
Thanks. Now, Krish is asked because this is something is
mm,
because I know
yeah.
this lot of research is going on. I
Yes.
attend lot of talks, lot of conferences.
Mhm.
It is very good. We all are like learning, experimenting,
Yeah.
and we are seeing this. It's amazing what you showed, right? I also have explored this. It is now when we go at from POC level to actually implementing it in companies' portfolio, right? Bridge.
Mhm.
So again, a lot of questions come into the picture, like data governance, data quality, data whether it's going to be on the premises or data sovereignty. So that
Mhm.
is the reason why I thought I will just take your view on this
Yes.
because POCs are great. What you did, what you showed, it is a very good proof of concept. How now SMBs and large enterprises can start using this? Like this is the same question what Krish also
Yes,
asking.
right. Okay. So basically, let me go with that example again. So recently, I was just attending a conference, and there was a presentation by Intuit, and they showed us like they have developed something, a kind of OS. They were saying OS, but it's more like a framework internally where they are using like all their measures for security and everything, all their framework over there to mitigate those kind of risk and to build these kind of systems over there. Okay, so in any company, like if we want to start with this kind of things, okay, first like we need to analyze that uh, first we need to analyze our needs and all those things, like needs and all the measures and risk factor compliance stuff, and we need to build integrate that thing while building this kind of system. So that should be an integral part of the overall development. So for example, if there is a HIPAA compliance policy, right? So for that one, like there are like now I have seen like so many companies they have open source agents which we can leverage, that if we are getting any question or if we are exploring any data, like so so automatically that masks the personal those identified information from the data, and then only that passes the input to the supervisor. So these kind of measures we can put in place. So for example, even for the security, if we have to implement or if we have any framework, right? Like any security framework in the organization which we want to leverage, we can create something that any input request or any data which we are accessing, that that must go through that. And once that is, like once that step is done, once we have received a flag that okay, this check mark is done, then only we are going to pass any data to this system. So of course, like those kind of measures are in place everywhere, and we always try to place those kind of things in between so that like we are not passing any data which is not necessary, or that, or which can expose us uh, our data to an external world, something like that. So that is a very basic principle. If we are designing anything, we need to keep that in mind. So that is a kind of culture which most of the companies they follow. That is a culture, and it's not a question whether we can do or whether we should do or how we can do. Before we start, like that should be the practice. Like we should look the system from a broader angle, from the broader side. Like, okay, we are designing this one, let's come to security, how we are going to secure this thing, how we are going to do this, that. When it comes to compliance, how we are going to enforce that. Unfortunately, like now there are frameworks even in LangChain. I mean, in LangGraph also, I think they are building something which we can leverage for those compliance. If there is a data compliance, we can just use their tools, and it will do our task. So many things are there, but yes, like of course, like we have to take care of those things.
Thanks a lot, Bridge. So I am sharing your LinkedIn profile on the Zoom chat and also on the YouTube streaming platform. You have any closing thoughts? And other than LinkedIn, how can people reach out to you? And your books that you mentioned. You want to just take a closing thoughts about that? And I first of all, before you take your closing thoughts, I know there are a few questions that were a little bit personal will be answered later, and we will try to do that as well on YouTube and on the Zoom. And I would really take the thank Bridge to come in on a Saturday early morning in US time and sharing with the community this information. And now you can I have already given your LinkedIn. Any closing thoughts and how people can get in touch with you and for future talks or anything that is there? Over to you.
Yes, so it was really a nice session. I love to share my knowledge, whatever I learn or whatever I have experienced in the real IT world. Basically, I try to explore new stuff. So I always try to, share up, like whatever information I have with a broader set of audiences here and there. And my one of my request is to, if you want to learn anything in AI side, just try to make your hands dirty. Try to do things instead of just learning the theory, and that is how you can learn stuff. Yes, for example, just now we saw that how we can create agents and multi-agent system in no time. So now it is up to you, go explore things here and there. Just try to do something, put your code on GitHub if you want, try to build something. If you are from business side, like you should try to come up with your ideas, like hey, what if we can develop a tool or develop a product like this one. And you should start with a very basic POC. And nowadays, like we have plenty of tools and technologies that are open source which we can leverage for, fortunately, to get started in no time. So that is my closing thought. If anybody wants to reach me out, they can always reach me out at the LinkedIn. I'm very much active over there, but my DMs are very much full. But still, like in a week, like I think on every Sunday, I try to clear all my DMs basically. So you can directly message me over LinkedIn. That's the best way to reach me out. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Bridge, and thank you everyone for. We will be doing the next section. So I really thank. I know I saw already 1 hour 20 minutes. It was a great session, lot of learning, And we will be doing a workshop for this, what you said in details, because you went through an overview, but we will try to do a workshop later next year, how to do this from our side. And thanks a lot, Bridge, for your help. And we will move to the next section now. I request all of you to stay for 10 minutes. Thank you, Bridge. If you want
Thank
to
you so
speak
much.
feedback, yeah, or else, yeah, I'll just continue sharing my
No,
screen.
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
you. Cool. So I will be sharing, as you know, this just stay there back for 10 minutes. I know all of you joined this call, or some of your questions we will answer on YouTube as well, and LinkedIn. One thing is, I wanted to talk to all of you regarding the challenge that we launched. Most of you are aware about the challenge that we have just, this is the fifth challenge that we are launching. And I request all of you to take, I don't need to tell you about the challenge. If you are part of the community, you know the importance of challenge. Tomorrow's career talk, I'm going to talk more about it, but take opportunity of the early bird offer of $9. Join this challenge, 8 days checkpoint of how to build an AI application. And this time what we have done is we have opened up, you can also use any no code, low code platform, like you can use Bold, you can use anything. End of the day, we are just looking out of three things. We are looking for your what you are developing, what is the problem you're solving, how you are presenting it, and is it a working demo? How you make it, you can use no code, you can use low code. We will be also looking at, we'll be releasing more details in the first checkpoint, but take advantage of the early bird offer. It's going to increase to $19 by after this weekend. And as you all have taken part in this, and you know the importance of what all we are talking, this is a great opportunity to take it forward and learn, because I cannot tell you the importance again and again of challenges. If you see, this is the fifth challenge that we are doing in the community. We had a very good turn up, and everyone can share their experiences as well. Anyone here who has participated in the previous challenge wants to raise his hands and talk about it, maybe. Barry, but is your voice clear now? Can we hear you clearly? Yes,
I hope so. You can hear me now?
better. Yes, tell me.
Yes, okay. I like the challenge. I will participate in the next challenge. Um, I learned and I hope to learn more.
Yes, thanks a lot. Barry is the one, he loves challenges. He has joined all our challenges, right, Barry? All you
And
tell
I
us.
will join the next one too.
Yeah, yeah. This one, you were not there. You were not there when we launched this challenge. This was the first challenge we launched in April. Barry was not there, but until now, he's joining all the challenges that we have done. And this is a very good way of learning. We were just discussing in the residency program just before this, and I requested everyone to join. You will learn. You, even if though some of you may complete it, some of you are busy, some of you may not be able to do that, but at least you will learn. You will have one project under your belt. Some of the top three may be lucky, but anyone, for me, anyone who completes the top eight, all the 8 days of checkpoint is at least the first phase of the winner. In every challenge, we announce two winners. One is the people who have completed everything and followed the process. They are the first level of winners. The level that the and the second level of winners are decided by the judges, who actually complete this that is there. Uh, so I have a 25th December, 10 days that submit three topics. No, this challenge is from 4th of January. The challenge announcement happened yesterday, 13th of December. The challenge, the early bird offer of $9 is today. I'm telling all of you today. You can join the challenge also on 5th of January, 6th of January, or also on the 10th of January. But that is open. People join. I will tell you the statistics to be honest. The last challenge, more than 25% of the people join in the last date of the challenge or after the challenge. So don't, it's up to you if you want to join late. But if you join now, you will take advantage of the early bird offer, and also you can plan. You can plan for 4th of January, which I told everyone. Please, will the swimmers, what is the meaning of swimmer? Winners. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, Barry, yes. So the winners will be announced mostly on 20, not on exact. Yeah, that is the plan. that is the reason why we are doing this as well. So the winners, we will announce more details about that. Right now, I want people to participate, right? Winning is something different. We are giving for the first winner, we are giving AI residency program uh, and $500 credit from on demand. For the second person, we are giving AI for bosses program. And the third winner, we are giving also AI for bosses program. So we have top three people who are going to get some prizes. So you have incentive also to join this program. And more than the incentive, it is about your learning. So this is a very good opportunity for within our community. Challenges, I take a lot of time to do these challenges, and I want people to participate because if people participate, then it is more fun learning because all of you will be in a WhatsApp group. We will be giving you support material. Like we give in all these challenges, we will be having multiple workshops, multiple events that is there. So please, everyone who is there, I know most of the people who I have talked to, they generally join. So share it with your friends. Anyone in your community, in your company, or in your vicinity who wants to learn about AI, who wants to, and this is the best, I'll tell you this, and I can share you many experiences of people who actually learned a lot from these type of challenges that are there. So I will again share this with you. And I multiple times I've shared it on the WhatsApp community, but many people miss out. So at least I request the 16 of you to register. I know few of you have already done that. Don't wait for tomorrow or to the end day. The early bird offer is there of $9, and share it with your friends as well. And tomorrow's career talk, I'll be talking more about this thing as well. But take this opportunity, and for any other questions, anyone has any questions regarding the challenge, regarding today's talk, the today's talk is getting streamed in YouTube. We'll be removing the link within 3 days, and we editing the video and putting it on our guild community. So if you want to watch it for the next 3 days, I will be sharing here the link again. You can look at this. We will be removing it in 3 days and editing it and putting it in our guild community and in our AI residency and AI for bosses program. But for 3 days, I'm putting it there because some of you have joined live. You are part of this community. We want to give you access for 3 days. You can do whatever you want to do. You can record it. You can see it. But we will be removing it. I'm telling you this because people complained. We are not giving you the recording. We have the session is free to join. The recording is available now. Right now, we are streaming. If the permission is given by the speaker, we put it on YouTube. You can like the YouTube. You can subscribe the YouTube. Comment on YouTube. This will also keep us motivated to put it on YouTube. We have, if you see my screen, we have just reached 1,500 subscribers, and I'm putting a lot of content on YouTube of different things. If you guys have not subscribed for our YouTube channel, and please do that, share it with your friends. I try to share a lot of free content here as well. Live streaming is because I need to respect our guild members and our paid program members. That is the reason why these sessions will be taken out, the live ones, after 3 days. I'm giving you 3 days time to do it. And accordingly, if you are part of the guild community, you will be getting access of all these recordings. And for the AI for bosses and everything as well, you'll be getting access to all of this particular program. Right? Any questions? Anyone has hands? Please raise your hands. I will take one last question before I end the call for today. I think there are no questions. No questions, no feedback. I can just wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah, thank you, Maria, for joining the challenge. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Barry. I can